My first introduction to Leandro Soto and his work was, I think, back in 2014, 15, or 16, one of them years, where I was performing in a theater production and I was told that our set design is going to be done by Soto. And I hearing all the technicals and everybody talk about Soto, 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 he's a big one, he's a big one. I never heard anything about this guy. And I just knew that he was a big artist and a very talented artist here in Barbados, and one of the leaders in set design here in Barbados and the art behind it. Then a few weeks later, when it's coming down to the tech week and the set is rolled in, I was amazed. It was a large a large painting of a house, basically the inside of a house. And this was my first time experiencing art on such a grand scale and up so close, especially in theater. I've never experienced anything like that. So I know that today you will feel the same way I did back in 2015 when you see his art on the wall here at the Barbados Center for Creative Imagination.
Endless supply of good humour to go with his infinite creativity. It is indeed an honour to have known him and to recall these cherished.
And Capital Media is on the scene. Now, this video, yes, is to cover the event and the opening of the gallery that showcases some of his work, but it's also here for people like me and you to get a deeper understanding of what art is, why is art important, why is his art important. So for instance, somebody like me, I'm going to school here at the EBCCIK campus, and this is really the art section, the artsy section. And a question that I've had for quite a long time is, what is art? And it's a very simple and complex question at the same time. And throughout these past, I guess, year or so, I've been trying to find my answers to that question any way I can. So I thought that today was a wonderful opportunity to bring you along on that journey. Leandro, this is my classmate at school. We both study film together, and Leandro has a long background, I would say, in art and what do you call it? Visual arts, right? And I'm just like, oh, you're an artist, I can't draw, I can't this, I can't that, you know, the usual. But Leandro is part of the you curated this, the Curatorial intern, so I worked underneath Therese, Dr. Therese Hadchity, and I assisted her with mounting the works, but the usual role of a curator, the calling around, the picking up the work, that was all Dr. Hadchity. So the curator basically is the person that does what? That is the person that brings this whole vision to life. As we heard in a lot of these tributes, this was a text message. They just wanted to honor the late Leandro Soto, and the curator was responsible for sourcing the work, and then upon getting the work for this particular exhibit, hanging it, how to hang pieces together. Okay. Plus the angle, you know, and she would have written the wall text as well, which we opted not to stick on the wall because we wanted the work to speak for itself. Exactly. So making artistic decisions like that, that's the work of the curator. Wonderful. You would have done your research before you came and took part in the process of honoring this great man. And I would have also done a little bit of research, so you'll be able to fill me in. So for Leandro specifically, this was a man that traveled. He was born in Cuba, and he spent some time here. There's Indian influence in his work, and what including ethnography in your artistic practice speaks to is including the culture of the places that you visit within your art. So his Egypt series is a prime example. This very clearly depicts images from Egypt. We have the pyramids, and then the arches that we see, like that visual cue, is of the Islamic temple. So ethnography is really just blending what you see in the real world, what you see, the people, the culture, and putting that in your art, having that be your personal rendering of what's there. Now we are here at this piece that you were telling me has very strong ties to Egypt, and when I first looked at it, I talked to Russell and I was like, Russell, that's a keyhole? I thought it was a keyhole, and he was like, no. And And then we were trying to like dissect the different things that it could be. Like for instance, the shapes in the Islamic faith and stuff like that. Can you speak more about that?
No problem. And one of the persons that gave a tribute earlier spoke to the fact that this arch ended up being a recurring theme in a lot of Leandro's design work.
Okay.
So here we see it represented again. This piece is from his Egypt series, done in 2014, I believe. And it is very similar to and derivative of the art in the Islamic faith. Like when we think about the mosque and like the temples, it has that kind of vibe. What's the word?
Yeah, that type of vibe. We understand that. Yeah.
It's an art. And like, it's very, so not only do we see the pyramids, which architecturally immediately make you think of Egypt, but it's kind of an ode to the religious beliefs that are practiced in Egypt. And like that is what ethnography is about, combining those elements of culture. It's not just flat out of depiction of the Egyptian landscape, but it kind of speaks to the Egyptian lifestyle, things that may have been practiced there. There's a reference to the sacred, which even if this particular faith was not what Leandro practiced, this was a man that was a spiritual teacher. This was a man that was extremely spiritually inclined and had diverse knowledge about a variety of spiritualities and spiritual practices.
I love that you brought up spirituality, because I realized that in his work there is a strong spiritual element. I don't know the timeline or if it was this particular time that he switched over to being very spiritual, but we look at that piece over there, which I believe is a autobiographical image of him.
That one was gifted to people for their initiative.
But was it him?
I am not completely sure.
There's a piece over here that draws me each and every time I walk into the space. It has a very strong like spiritual element, and there's not a solid image in there.
There are hidden images as well.
So let's go over to see some of these hidden images.
And that's it for part 1 of this video. Come back to Capital Media HD on YouTube and see part 2, where we'll be having more conversations and seeing more art.
I'm a proud resident of St. George. Anybody that has seen my visual artwork, as a girl that does rep LA to